All right, in today's video, we're gonna talk about my favorite piece of gear that we purchased this year, and that's this OC 21-inch video production monitor. Some of the reviews I've been seeing out there have been by people who have been given the monitor, and that doesn't mean that it's a bad review, but it doesn't necessarily talk about all the negative things about the monitor. And so today I wanna tell you about the reasons why we wanted a production monitor, the pros and cons of the monitor, and whether I think that you should buy this and add it to your kit. So let's start by talking about why it's valuable to have a production monitor. Depending on the kinds of productions that you do, having a larger monitor to view what you're filming can be super valuable. It's not something that you want to go film run and gun with, or if you're a one-man crew, it can be a pain to add this to your kit. But as you grow your team, it is really helpful to have a larger monitor for a few main reasons. The first reason is it allows you to have a director's monitor or even a client monitor. Allowing your client who is behind the camera to see the image much larger and closer to what the actual image is going to look like in post can be really helpful for them and make them feel more a part of your production. The second reason, one of the reasons that really benefited us, was focus. So most cameras have focus peaking and different ways to check your focus, but when we're filming products in studio, especially macro features or things that is really hard to nail the focus, having a 21-inch monitor that allows you to see what it's gonna look like when it's on a big monitor allows us to recognize, man, that actually isn't quite in focus. Even though the focus peaking looks close, we wanted something that was bigger, and that's been a big help. The third reason we added a production monitor to our kit is it just makes you look more professional. Now, this is kind of one of those areas that I don't think you should play into completely, but there are certain things like the camera you're using, the kinds of gear that you have, that can give your clients a negative or a positive experience with you. The way they perceive you can sometimes be not just the finished product, but actually the equipment you have. That's not saying that you should all go buy a red camera or buy super expensive things just to look cool. For example, if you show up on a shoot with a teeny Micro Four Thirds camera just on a small tripod, it doesn't look like you're a professional. But if you put a matte box on there and you put a cage on there and you put all the extra things, a follow focus, those help the client feel like you're a master of what you do. And I think this is one of those things as well. When they can actually see things brought to life on a larger scale, it shows them extra value and it gives them more trust in your abilities. So what are the pros and cons about this? Well, the first pro is it truly is very bright. We have shot with it outside. We have tested it, having direct sunlight on it, sun reflecting, and you can actually see it, which is impressive, and it's super useful in those situations. The second thing is it has a great image. The image quality looks super nice. We've been impressed with it, and it really does bring to life what the image is from the camera on a much larger scale. Another thing that we really like is that it has a V-mount battery attachment built right onto it. For us, we love having the V-mount on because it just makes it more flexible. We have less cables lying on the ground, and especially if you're taking it outside, that makes it a really versatile piece of equipment. On top of all that, this monitor is pretty lightweight. It works great on light stands. I still recommend a sandbag on it. And the number one reason why we think this is a great monitor is the price. If you start looking for production monitors, the prices can range quite a bit, but it can get very expensive. I'm talking in the fives, sometimes even tens of thousands of dollars. So for $1,250, this was really reasonable, and we were stoked to be able to purchase it. But there are some cons that I want to bring up with this monitor. And the first one is the menu system. How they've built their menu system isn't super intuitive, and I just don't think that it's really well designed. And you can tell that they haven't really invested too much into the menus. The second and most annoying thing for us is the connection on the back of the monitor. How it was designed, they have a few different screws to remove it, and it just gets loose easily, and so the monitor kind of tilts back and forth when it's up on a stand. Another negative that we didn't really like is the actual purchasing experience. So when we purchase equipment, I primarily go to B&H Photo Video. I'll go to a local place, I will go to Adorama, and one weird thing that I found in buying this is it always says new item coming soon. But this is an item that their video reviews 2 years ago. I don't see it as a new item, and you can buy it directly from them on their website. And it's just a weird process. I feel like they want you to buy it directly through them, and so they're making it harder to buy from trusted partners. Two other cons that we've noticed are, first, the color calibration. Now, some people who've gotten it said they had a really off color calibration, and ours isn't too bad, but definitely we've had clients go, the skin seems a little oranger than I would expect, or man, that doesn't look quite the same. And we have to tell them that it's just not a perfectly calibrated monitor. But overall, it's not noticeable enough that we feel like we can't use it. We still use it a lot and feel like it looks close enough. So the last con is kind of a weird one. We don't know if this is something that's just our unit or if lots of people are dealing with this, but for whatever reason, when we plug in AC power to this unit, we get a little bit of a hum in our audio recording. And so we've ended up just using the V-mount anytime we're doing interviews because we don't want to deal with that. Here are a few features that we wish you had in this monitor. The first is freeze frame. It's so nice when a monitor has a button to be able to get a still frame from what you're filming so that you can have the client come back real quick and review what it looks like and not have to record a click, go and play back and send the playback to the monitor for them to see. The second thing is an image overlay. When you can take a still shot and then overlay it at a lower opacity, that can really help when you need two scenes to look identical. It's super helpful to be able to overlay an image from that shoot, so you know that. The last feature I wish this monitor had was customizable framing. It doesn't have a guide for 9x16, so if you're shooting something horizontally, but you also need to be able to create a 9x16 vertical content for Reels or any other of those social media outlets, it'd be nice to have those guidelines for you. All right, so let's wrap this whole thing up. Should you buy this monitor? Is this monitor for you? And I think that really depends. If budget is a constraint, then I think it's a great monitor. For us, I think it really serves a lot of the things that we need it for, and it's a great price point. $1,250 is really reasonable for all the features that this does have and the quality of it. But if you have a little extra budget, the one that I would consider looking into is the Atomos Sumo. The Sumo is a 19-inch monitor. It doesn't have the V-mount connection on it, but it does have a lot of features. We've had this monitor for probably about 6 months, and from what we've seen, how it's impacted our shoots, we think that it's been a great purchase and addition. If OC does change and add some firmware updates, it could become even better, but I do think that it can be worth adding to your kit if it's the right budget and right feature set. Thanks so much for watching our video about the OC 21-inch monitor. If you want to learn about one of our other favorite products we bought this year, some tube lights, make sure you check out this video, and we'll see you in the next video.